before I start the proceedings, court proceedings my request is please get rid of your mobile phones. This is my very earnest request to all of you. If you get rid of that screen, you will enjoy this session more. Let us start looking at people straight into the eye and the man's blood and flesh rather than looking him through a screen. The screen will be provided here. Somebody will record it. In any case, it is going to come out. So, your job is not to record what is happening and send it through WhatsApp and get a like. That's not the purpose for which you came here. So, I am requesting, it's a mandamus issue. I always feel that information can be easily conveyed when you make people lighter, those who are sitting in front of you. You looking at me as a judge, I looking at you as some junior advocates, the information never goes on. Information can never be passed on like that. Unfortunately, they have again given a stage like this, like what I sit in the court. I think it has to be in the same level. Only then it can be easily conveyed. So, first, thank you so much for coming and attending today. Today is a Saturday. You had a lot of options today, actually. You could have gone out with your boyfriend or your girlfriend. You could have gone to a pub. You could have gone home and relaxed. But you decided to sacrifice all that and come here just because an young man aged about 54 years called you to attend this rather informal meeting. This is something very novel. I don't know whether anybody has sort of attempted this. The reason is that once you become a judge, you continuously wear this cap and suffer. I don't want to suffer. In any case, meaning already I think that for every judge there is a violation of Article 21 of the Constitution of India. We cannot roam around like everybody else. We cannot move around like everybody else. The Fedar, the Shobdar who carries that thing, you think that is some respect. Actually, he is the police. He is the one who is leading me to the court, picking me from the court and confining me into a room. So he is actually the police. And it's so difficult to live a life like that. It's very difficult, more particularly for a person who was running around the court, virtually with two bags in my hands. Today, even now, I remember when I walked through the corridors of the court, running with two bags. Virtual running race will start from the morning. Sometimes my black pant, at the end of the day, there will be traces of this salt, that white salt. And how happy I was by doing all that. But no regrets, because I'm able to give back to the society more than what I could have done as an advocate. The first thing is somehow, I do not know how, but it's a conscious thing we have to do. Somehow, we have to come off this screen, the screen in which we are taught, and pay full attention to a person, which we are thoroughly missing. Every other moment we are distracted by a screen, a monster which is accompanying us wherever we are going. That monster is not allowing us to sit and have a small chat with the person. You start a conversation, something comes. And that's the most useless message which you have ever received. But your attention is not on the person. Your attention is distracted to that useless message which you have received, which you can always postpone for 2 hours. So, we'll be here for maybe 1.5 or maximum 2 hours. So, my request is that please get rid of that screen for some time. You will really enjoy it. If rather than getting distracted, the person standing in front of me is in any way taking all these things. So in any case it will reach. So don't bother about your mobile phones and all that. And nothing important is going to happen for the coming. The world is going to function. Your parents are very happy that you are out for 2 hours at least. No problem at all. So just get rid of it, because there is something called as a non-verbal synchrony. I do not know how many of you have heard this word. Non-verbal synchrony means even without a word being uttered, even without a conversation, there is a synchronization of thoughts that goes on between two persons. That goes on between a person who addresses a gathering and the people who sit and watch. This is something which you can never explain by words and all that, but science has found that it's called as the non-verbal synchrony. Let's have that non-verbal synchrony today. Today, let's see whether it really works. So, since we are continuously distracted by this thing, it is told by the neuroscientists that we are slowly losing this ability of non-verbal synchrony. See how dangerous it is. Millions and millions of years, human brain has evolved in a particular way. And for that human brain, apart from communication, a non-verbal communication is actually happening. If two people are there in a room, or three people are assembling, and if you capture it with some camera, you will find that without the words being uttered, there are lots of communications that happens between them. I am sure you will understand what I am saying. With the movement of the eyelid, with your gesticulations, with your body movements, with your body languages, and neuroscientists are saying that we are losing it. Please, let us not lose it. Let us live in this world as human beings. We are here not for the screen. We are here in this world to live as a human being and to enjoy the purpose, or to fulfill the purpose for which we have been born in this world. So let us not arrest ourselves. Let us not confine ourselves into a screen and suffer. So that's my first request to all of you. Why do I want to meet you? That must be the first question you must be asking. This mic is... You want to... Why do I want to meet freshers? Why do I want to meet juniors who just got into the profession? This question came to me also. For some reason I thought that one is that I have a teenage boy. He is just 19 years. So I move with him like a friend. My wife tells me that many times I am my level of moving with him. She says, "Who is the baby here?" The maturity level of mine comes down so much that sometimes he screams at me. She says, "Your maturity level is much lesser than this boy of 19 years." But he teaches me a lot of things, and I find that there is a huge change in culture that is happening. Earlier we used to have a generation gap, and all those words were there. All that has no meaning today. Today, because of the mass communication that is happening, the messages that are coming and bombarding us from all over the world, the various cultures that are getting easily. Earlier, it used to be very difficult because what you had was at the best a book or a magazine. That's it. So the access is very less. So therefore, there was something called as a culture which used to prevail in a place for a particular period of time, a long period of time. Therefore, they said that that's a generation, and that gap used to be 20 years and all that. Today, there is nothing like that. The culture is rapidly changing. Are the elders understanding that change in culture that is happening? That's the first thing. Second is, there is a change in the manner in which you will have to communicate. Communication with youngsters is not the same way you communicate in the past. Hey, you cannot communicate like that today. They will say, get rid of, get out. They don't care about it. I have seen people giving the resignation like this. So, communication. How do you communicate with them? Are you understanding the language with which you can communicate with them? That's another thing which I thought that there is a big gap between the elders and the young community here. And unfortunately, we seem to be gathering some opinions about this generation. Arrogant. First thing is that. Arrogant, no discipline, absolutely lack of culture. How our time used to be and where are we today? So these are things which are flippant. This is a word regularly used. Flippant youngsters. They don't know the. So those are complaints. So I thought, without understanding all this, how is it that as a judge, I am going to understand the juniors? Law is a very small part. Your arguments, your submissions on facts, your application of law, that's all there. But that's not what this profession is all about. So I thought that it's the duty of, at least for myself I am saying this, it's the duty of the seniors in the profession, the judges who have taken up a constitutional position like this, to come down and understand jury advocates. At the end of the day, you are going to be the torch bearers of the future. And if we do not communicate with you at all, and if we do not understand you at all, and we keep on complaining, where is it leading to? It's not good for the profession. It's not good for you. And in any case, our 2/3 life is gone. What is left is just 1/3 for us. So after 1/3, after retirement, nobody will know that somebody was there with the name of Anand Venkatesh in this court. So this system will go on. To ensure that the system operates well, and there is a mechanism in the system where efforts are taken by the senior advocates, by the judges, to understand the juniors who come into the bar with lots of expectation. This is something which is bound to be done, and therefore I have done this. That's the reason why I called all of you for this meeting, for this gathering, rather. Here, the ones who have assembled here are all millennial or Gen Z kids, right? 84 and above, not before that. So none of you have seen 83 India winning the Prudential World Cup. Okay, so you are all this millennial or the Gen Z kids, right? What is happening is that you are not allowed to take disappointment at all. It's good that it happened here now. For someone who had not taken disappointment, for someone who does not want to fail at all, this would have completely upset them, right? Correct? You agree? Meaning, I would have screamed at the organizer, what is happening? You have called a high court judge and this is happening and that is happening. This would have happened. But this is how our life goes. We don't know if everything is going to move perfectly in life, right? So, for kids who are falling within this generation, the first important factor which goes against them, this generation is called as anxious generation. The neuroscientists have called this generation as anxious generation. And the factors are, one, failed parental guidance. Parents are not allowing the kids to grow. They are overprotecting children. When was the first time, from the girl's side I'll ask, when was the first time you independently went out of your house? At what age? Age 10? 12? பேசுங்கப்பா. 4th, alone, not getting into school bus. I mean, if that is alone, then adu odukku maatanga. 16 when you got out, which means for 16 years the parents did not allow you to grow at all. Correct? Which means what? Which means you have been protected so much by your parents. So much of protection has happened. What about the boys? When did you move alone outside? 19. 3rd standard. Okay. Then you are a very lucky guy. So, what will be the average age at which you really moved out independently? 12 years. 12, 14. And here it's almost 15 or 16. Was that the situation when we were growing? That's the question. Or was that the situation for the generation before me? What I'm attempting to tell you is that that's how we grew up. And the way in which you are all growing up, the first important factor which is going against your very evolvement and growth is bad parental guidance. Bad parental guidance. The parents are more childish than the child. The parents don't want you to fail. The parents don't want you to get into disappointments. The parents want you to always look at the world as if it's hanky-dory all the time. That's not the way life goes on. So what happens is that in spite of you equipping yourself on all the other sides, on the academia, on the sports, etc., your emotional intelligence is taking a very bad beating. And it will have a lot of relevance for what happened now. Correct? Now, what did I attempt? I attempted to sing a duet song with a very good singer. Unfortunately, she is disappointed now. It failed. This is not drama. This really happened. Don't think that this is some scheme which happened. No. This is not drama. This really happened. Anyway. But how did we take it? That's the question. That's the most important question. It happened. You had a good hearty laugh. That's it. Over. We'll have to move into the next thing, right? That's not happening. You get caught into that failure. You keep thinking of that failure. You give it a huge force, and you are not able to take any failure at all. And it is said that human evolution does not happen without failures. So therefore, in one of my recent address to the students of the SOIL, School of Excellence, I said, please attempt to keep arrears. Earlier, the advice is attempt to score good marks. I said, please attempt to keep arrears. If you don't have arrears, how will you know the feeling of a person who is having arrears, who has failed in an exam? You please tell me. Correct? If you continuously take 90 marks and 95 marks, it's frustrating. Then if everybody is going to take 90 and 95, 90-95 marks enna mariyadha irukku? மரியாதை இருக்காது. எல்லாம் 90, எல்லாருமே 95. அந்த இடத்துல ஒருத்தன் 20 மார்க்ஸ் எடுக்கும். அப்போ everybody will turn back and say 20யா? that's something into which we are not being exposed at all. I'm right, I am wrong. Right? Unanimously right only, correct? So your question will be then ask our parents to attend this meeting. Why are you asking us to attend the meeting? I cannot address elders. There is something called as neuroplasticity in our brain. Neuroplasticity is like, I always say this, like how you do your exercise physically and change your body structure. and develop your muscles. The same way you can exercise your brain also and reverse it. The brain is modeled in such a way that you can really change your attitudes, you can change your behavior pattern, you can change your outlook towards the world. The requirement is that you have to put that effort. Like how a 120 kg body reduces it to 70 by what? Not by just sitting, by putting that effort, that exercise, that continuous effort. The same thing actually applies to the brain also. I don't know how many elders are willing to do it. I really don't know how many elders are willing to do this. I am willing to do it. Therefore, I get into all these things. This trying to understand and reverse it, and think about what notions I have about youngsters, and if it is wrong, to change it. So that is one thing. The second thing which is happening is that there are no deeper meanings to relationships today. There are no deeper meanings to relationships today. Today, what is relationship? To have fun. Please touch your heart and tell me, you have 1,000 friends in Facebook, 20,000 followers in your, what is that? What is the use? What is the use of all these things? Is that a relationship at all? Is my question. So, relationship today means that 4 people gathering together and having fun and say bye and go. When we are stressed out, when we face a very difficult situation, earlier it used to be to turn to relationships and try to resolve it and try to talk about it. Even if there is no resolution given by the other side, at least talk with that person so that it comes out of it. And probably the other person gives some solace which improves your mindset, your feeling. Today, what is that you do? You resort to the device. You message through a device. It's like having 1 or 2 pegs and you think that it's giving you solace. No. Earlier, people used to turn to bottle. Today, we are turning to device. So this is a very, very important issue which I see as a major problem that is happening. Developing deeper, purposeful relationship is almost vanishing. And people don't even know how to sit and talk without staring at the mobile phone. This is one more thing about which I thought I have to convey you. This there was what is that makes life good? This is a very, very interesting TED talk which I was able to hear recently. What makes a good life, a satisfied life? What keeps us healthy and happy as we go through life? The Harvard University made a study. You will not even believe. This study started in 1938 and 75 years they have tracked 724 men, including men, women, etc. 724 men were tracked for how many years? For 75 years they have tracked. Meaning there are people who were graduated before the Second World War. So Harvard University has made this study, and this TED talk is given by one Robert Waldinger. If you get into the YouTube, there are some beautiful things which are available. Don't think that this is it is possible to use this so purposefully, provided our brain is ready for it, our mind is ready for it. He gives a talk on that, and he is the 4th director who has taken charge of it. So it's very lucky that this is progressing for the last 75 years. And out of these 724 men, 60 persons are alive today. 60 are alive today. and they are still participating. So this is about talking with them regularly, going through the blood test, examining their brain. Everything happens. It's a consummate follow-up of men. Consummate follow-up of men. And the question is, what makes this life satisfied? What makes this life good? What keeps us healthy and happy? That's the question, correct? At one stage we think that money makes us happy, correct? So people want to get rich. People think that if I get rich, I'll be happy, I'll get everything, I'll have a satisfied life, I can go to the best of the gymnasium, do my physics. All that never happens. But you think like that, right? What is the other answer which they got? The other answer which they got was getting into a very powerful position, like a high court judge. That's the most foolish thing to think. Getting into a powerful position like a minister, like a constitutional position, or getting very famous like an actor or an actress. They thought that will sort of ensure the healthy and happy life. These are answers which they got. They were asking questions, and almost 70% said if they get rich, they will have a happy life. Out of the 50% said if we become famous, if we become popular, if we get into a powerful position, then we will have a satisfied life. These are answers which they get. So after analyzing for 75 years from there, 1938, out of which I said 60 are available, 60 are alive out of 724 persons whom they tracked. Do you know what the answer is? It's a stunning answer. I was stunned. It says good relationships keeps us happier and healthier. Period. I'll again tell you. Good relationships keeps us happier and healthier. Period. There is no, and that's what they have found out with these 60 who are alive. And these are persons who said, I want to become rich, this, that. Is the present situation paving way for such good relationships? We have to understand the purpose of our life. The practicing, earning money, all that, those things are peripherals in life. At the end of the day, what is that we are attempting moment by moment by moment? What are we attempting? Please tell me. What is that we are striving at every moment? Please tell me. What do we want to get? Happiness? சந்தோஷமா இருக்கணும். அதானே? ரொம்ப வருத்தமா இருக்கணும்னு நம்ம கஷ்டப்படுறோமா? இல்ல. என்ன எப்ப பார்த்தாலும் நம்ம சந்தோஷமாவே இருக்கோம்னு சொல்றது இல்ல. Correct? So our effort is all about getting into happiness. ஏன் நம்ம இன்னைக்கு இங்க அட்டெண்ட் பண்ண வந்தோம்? You tell me one simple reason. ஏன் இங்க வந்தோம்? இங்க ஏதோ இருந்தாலும் ஏதோ சொல்லுவான் போல இருக்கு, ஏதோ 4 வார்த்தை பேசுவான் போல இருக்கு, இது முடிச்ச உடனே ஹாப்பியா இருக்கும் போல இருக்கு. If you don't get happiness inside this room, why would you ever come here? Why did I come here? Meaning, I am so excited to see all of you today. நேத்திக்கு நைட்ல நான் தூங்கவே இல்லை. I was turning and tossing in my bed like a child. நாளைக்கு ஒரு 100 பேரை நம்ம பார்க்க போறோம் அப்படின்னு. So why did I come here? I will get happiness. I'll get a lot of satisfaction looking at these faces, to address them, to sort of convey whatever I know to them. So I want to get happiness. I came here because of that. You want to get, every step which we take in life is only striving towards happiness. So the question is, where do you get that real happiness is the question. The study is about what? Ultimately the study is what keeps us healthy and happy. Because healthy and happy goes together. Body and mind are so connected that you cannot be happy without a healthy body. So health and mind, the body and the mind, the healthiness of the body and the happiness of the mind, they say that good relationships alone keeps us happy. That's the study result which came after. It's a study. This is not some imagination or presumption. It's a study, a continuous study for 75 years. Back to back to back. Every time they are contacted, every time. And they have now gone into the children of those persons also. So that's something which we have to learn from them. There are lots of things which we have to learn. And this is pure data. This is not some imagination. This is not, they are not coming up with some off-the-cuff remarks here. They are coming up with the data. So, what is this good relationships? Is the next question. What relationships are we talking about? Social connections. Social connections happens through friends, family, society. Please tell me how many friends each of you have. Not in your WhatsApp, not in your Facebook, not in your Twitter, physically. A friend in whose shoulder I will put my head and say, Macha, problem is ரொம்ப சின்ன நம்பர் இல்லையா அது? That number will not be 2 or 3. It will not be 1,000. As we are nobody can have 1,000 friends first. Correct தானே? முடியவே முடியாது. ஒரு வைஃப் ஒரு ஹஸ்பண்ட் வச்சது முடியலையே. கரெக்ட்? அதான் நான் சொன்னேன். நான் ரெண்டும் சொல்லிட்டேன். அதனால தான் சட்டுன்னு. Both of them keep. See, this social connections comes the friends, the family, and the society. Relationship is a very meandering process. It's a very messy process, basically. Relationships does not happen just like that at all. In this study, they found that fighting between the couples, meaning not physically sort of hitting each other, the fights, the misunderstandings that happen between the couples actually paves way for a good relationship. Why am I saying this? I find that because of our inability to take failures, our inability to not adjust to situations, it's telling upon our relationships here. I have been sitting in this 482 portfolio at least 50% of my judgeship. I am being branded as 482 judge to that extent. The most unfortunate thing which happens is that marriage happens in 6 months. One 498A complaint, one domestic violence complaint, one divorce petition, one restitution of conjugal rights petition, one maintenance petition. இது பாதி நம்ம அட்வொகேட்ஸ் பண்ற வேலை. But let's not get into that. Let's not blame anybody. Here. If blame பண்ணோம்னாக்கா நெகட்டிவா போயிடும். 6 மாசத்துல 6 months, how is it that you will understand another person? Let me take my life. I met my wife in the same office in 1992. Then we developed a relationship. Then I got married in 1997. To understand me, meaning I am a terrible person. So I'll tell about me later. Very difficult to manage me and all that. It took 20 years, sir. Today I know the worth of my wife. Today I know that without her, there is nothing that I could have done in my life. But many times I have felt that, why did I marry this? So, why am I saying this? I am saying this because long-standing relationships are meandering, are messy. It does not happen just like that. We are into this instantaneous gratification today. Things must happen like that. I'll have to get into enroll, next month I'll have to have a BMW, then I'll have to have a... We are getting step by step. We keep on hopping like that. It's telling on our relationship is what I am trying to say. The attitude to get instantaneous gratification means that you want to immediately create an impact into a system. You want to immediately create an impact into the profession into which you have gotten. You want to create all sorts of things. But what you forget is that there is a mountain to climb, and thereafter only you will reach the summit. What you see is the bottom of the mountain and the summit. You forget about the mountain. Without climbing the mountain, without getting bruises, without getting that hit, without falling down, you will never reach that summit as an evolved person. It can never happen. So, same is the case with relationship. The instantaneous gratification and this growing impatience. I am not able to take you. Mutual concern. Is that the reason why you got married? People are fearing to get married today. People say that we will live together. Marriage. Let's see. That's the why. Because you are not very sure what is that relationship. You are not binding each other. It's such a beautiful relationship. I'm telling you, I am experienced now. I'm not trying to take revenge on any of you. I'm honestly telling you, it is such a beautiful relationship. Marriage is the best thing that can happen. That's the best thing that can happen for a man or a woman for so many reasons. So, this problem in developing relationship is the reason for a lot of problems we are facing in terms of our professional growth, in terms of our interpersonal relationships, in what we see as happiness. Everything revolves around this. And here we are making a major mistake. Is something which I wanted to tell you. So, there is no sustained relationship that is happening. There is no sustained relationship. We hop from one relationship to another. We hop from one job to another. Don't we do that? Why are we doing that? Because we are imagining that instantaneously this is going to give me something. After some time, then hop. Relationship hopping la vela nadakave. Nothing will happen if you keep hopping like that. After all that you ask them, are you fine? Sir, சந்தோஷமா இருக்கேன் சார். அது மாதிரி யாராவது உங்கள்கிட்ட பதில் சொன்னாங்களா? இல்ல உங்கள்கிட்ட நான் கேட்கிறேன். Going fine. Little do we realize that this anxious mind we carry it wherever we go. Correct? This expecting mind, this anxious mind we are carrying it, and we are thinking that here when we go that anxious mind will vanish. It will not vanish. It is with you. So therefore the problem which you have continues. Even though you change relationships, you change professions, you change your house, you change the country. Somebody says, I am going to Canada. Fine. Canada போகும்போது மைண்ட் அவுட் வச்சு போவீங்களா? அதை தானே எடுத்துன்னு போவீங்க கையில் போகும்போது. So the problem is not with Canada or America or India. The problem is with you. That's something which we do not understand at all. And we are completely misled in understanding this word called as success. That's the most misleading word. And we are completely misled about this word called as success. I have said this in so many occasions as to what you have to mean. That Harvard University study shows that sustained relationship is what has to be called as success, because it gives us happiness. At the end of the day, what is success? I have to be happy, correct? I have to remain happy, and I have to be peaceful inside. If you don't do that, if you don't get that, even if you become the President of India, even if you become the Chief Justice of India, absolutely there is no use, right? So this word called as success continuously keeps challenging us. There is a wrong understanding about that, and we get everything. We are protected, we are given all facilities, we are given the education, we qualify ourselves, and then we fear. This is one side of the story. They didn't get anything. They were shunned by their own family. They were shunned by the society. They did not get the opportunity. They were looked as an accused. They were looked as a transgender. She was looked as a mad person. But they have just broken all those things. தடைக்கற்கள் எல்லாரையும் படிக்கெல்லாம் மாற்றி மேலே வந்திருக்காங்க அவங்க. கிருஷ்ணயனுடைய ஃபேமஸ் வேர்ட் தான், சேயிங்ஸ் தான் ஞாபகம் வந்தது அவர் சொல்லும்பொழுது. Law barks at people but bites only the poorன்னு வர்றாரு. பணக்காரங்களை அக்யூஸ்டாக பார்க்குறது ரொம்ப கஷ்டம். பாவம் ஏழைங்க தான். நீங்கள் அங்கே போனீங்கன்னா தெரியும். மை சிஸ்டர் நோஸ் அபவுட் இட். ஷீ ரெகுலர்லி கோஸ் டு ஜெயில். அங்கே போனீங்கன்னா ஏழைகள் மாத்திரம்தான் இருப்பாங்க. Does it mean that they are the only accused persons? They were caught. அவ்வளோதான். So reason why I brought both of them here is that you must have, இங்கே வந்துட்டு law, junior, career, where do I go from here அப்படின்ற கொஸ்டின் மாத்திரம் பார்க்குறத விட ஒரு லார்ஜர் ஸ்பெக்ட்ரமை பார்த்தோம்னாக்கா you will get a better idea as to how we have to look at life. At the end of the day, it is the manner in which you look at life. எப்படி நம்ம வாழ்க்கையை பார்க்குறோன்றது தான் முக்கியம். அந்த புரிதல் நல்லா ஆயிடுச்சு அப்படின்னு சொன்னாக்கா there will be no confusion at all. We will be ready for the struggle. We must be ready for the struggle.